It's 6:48 on a Saturday morning, and to say I'm excited about this next box is an understatement. That's because it contains a Stirling engine, and a Stirling engine obtained from Stirling Kit, and that's their website, stirlingkit.com. And I have to say, I was not aware of these guys until someone contacted me about them, and I've gone on their website and it's absolutely full of amazing things. So yeah, Stirling Kit, good stuff. Anywho, let's have a look at one of their Stirling kits. This is the, I don't know what they actually call it. Does it have a model number? Let's have a look here in the brochure. But it's basically like an external combustion Stirling engine. So if you remember before, in fact, let's have a look on the box here. It's a mysterious one. It's just on their website as a single cylinder Stirling engine generator DIY model. Here, whatever. Let's have a look. Ah, yes. Now, if you remember before, the last Stirling video I did was absolutely ages ago. And it was one of those ones which you can hold in your hand or put on a hot coffee, and it would just sit there running off, you know, this sort of relatively low temperature differential. Whereas this one really piqued my interest because it uses, it's really hard to see. I do apologise, by the way, all the laser printers seem to have gone a bit crappy during lockdown. We didn't really use them much. But it has this external combustion source here, and it actually has the cylinders on the outside. So it's like a kind of really forced heat Stirling engine rather than just sitting there off your coffee. And I'm hoping that'll allow us to give a lot more torque, and I suspect it will, because this kit actually comes, and I'm unwrapping this to show you, it actually comes with a motor. But that motor isn't used to drive the Stirling engine. Oh no, that's being used in reverse. A DC motor used in reverse to actually generate power. So it will generate a certain amount of power, and actually, oops, he's broken the belt. This thing is way heavier than I expected. There's like a lump of, I wouldn't say it's brass. It looks brassy, but it's probably not brass, not for the price they're charging. At the moment, this is under $40 US. Look at that. Sorry, I just sort of got beguiled by that action. Let's unwrap it. Maybe that's what we should let's crack on and unwrap it. So that's obviously a base plate here. Quite nicely wrapped and nicely heavy. I mean, if you take your care and don't scrape this stuff, it wouldn't look too bad on your, you know, executive desk. Although, probably don't take this into work and light fires. Probably don't like that. Just pop that there. Is that a magnet? Yeah, it is a magnet. I am cognizant of the fact as well that I'm just ripping into this without looking at the instructions, but I think there's only a few parts to worry about. The big baggie of screws over there. Ooh, that's your piston. Look at that. Now that is interesting. The weird thing about Stirling engine, they never seem to work how you expect. If you're used to internal combustion engines, most of us are, we'll have a fair idea at how those work. When you see Stirling engines, you're like, what? Because there's all these things to display, you know, displacers, especially in that one that runs off your hand, because that's got a very weird arrangement, and I think these are kind of the same. What is that? Oh, it's a graphite. If you look inside, I wonder why is it dirty? You go, look, why is it dirty in there? But I don't think it is dirty. I think that's graphite powder. Step 1, insert the feet. Okay, we can do that. Now there's a shiny side and a less shiny side. Let's put the feet on the less shiny side. That we can do. And it's substantial. These are really quite chunky feet. They're over 5mm each. So if you're making it along at home, get your chunky feet on right now. I should have timed this. It's 6:54 now. Let's flip that over. Right, now part 21 is fasten screw has been put into the parsed. Lock them lightly with a hexagon driver. What? Okay, so there's a little bit of broken English there, so we're going to have to figure it out, but it looks like the motor assembly, and I think it's telling us to screw it onto this with the flywheel that way. But interestingly enough, there is a part 21 here, which is a grub screw. So you do have a grub screw. Okay, so the grub screws to hold the motor, that's already been inserted. So really you're just screwing these two to the base. They've done a lot of pre-assembly on this one. I wonder if it was originally available as, you know, a kit with way more parts on it. Next step says put the LEDs, the pins of the LEDs into the holes in the motor. So the motor terminals do have a couple of small holes, and you're just going to pop the LEDs through. But it does say rotate the wheel and see if the LEDs come on. If not, turn the LED the other way around. But I suspect, how are you going to do that? Because it depends which direction this thing's spinning. The LED will only work on a certain polarity. And if you spin it one way, you'll get like a positive going polarity, or you'll get a negative going polarity. So yeah, I don't know, you might have to repeat this exercise once it's actually all put together, because I've got no idea which way it'll spin. Or perhaps it's one of those devices that can, the Stirling engine you can start up in either direction. So that's the motor in like that. It is a little bit wobbly, and I suspect that's why they do give you an Allen key, and you can adjust that grub screw through the base itself, which is kind of nice. So I'm just going to give it a little nip up. There you go. There's no wobble there now. And let's try that LED. Right. Okay, so I didn't see anything that way. I'm going to turn the light off. Let's see that way. Oh yeah, no, I do see a little. You see it there? Just a little flicker. And that's quite a lot of force. That's more force than you'd expect. Right, next step. It's just telling us about how to screw that grub screw in. That's fine. Just realised we've got a new Allen key and a new little screwdriver out of this too. That's handy. Now, they are these little tiny plastic things here. I would say be really careful. They've got 4 of these in the kit. You think, why do they have 4? They've got to be important for something. Okay, and there's a whole big lot of the instructions on how to assemble these cylinders, and the cylinders again already pre-assembled, which is great for us. So I'm just going to put that there. We've got a long cylinder and a short cylinder. So this is the long one, which would go somewhere like here. But we need to make sure we've got the right conrod, because I did mess them up. So there's a short one, which is the green, and the long one, which is the red, and they're saying put the green into this one. So the green was the shorter one. That's fine. We've got this, that's fine. So I'm just going to give it a little bit, that's weird, there we go. Put the hexagon driver to prevent the 2 cylinders was too close to avoid blocking the air. So there is something in the instructions about using this in there. It's all complicated, but again, I think it's all just part of stuff that's needed when you're assembling it. And this kit does have it pre-assembled. Look, you can actually unscrew these. This all fits together. Let's have a quick look, shall we? Ooh, look at that. So yeah, it's probably quite complicated if you're going to do it properly. I think I've worked this out. I don't think these are really the pistons. I think the whole assembly is the piston. So that glass tube is the piston, because you can see that slides in and out virtually frictionless, and then if you put your finger over the hole, so those O-rings on that internal piston are actually just to allow for adjustment. So I might just extract it back out a little bit, because let's leave it there for now, just so that gives us the opportunity to push it in or out a little bit as needed. I'll just set this one as well. Okay, and that's the same. Okay, that's looking pretty good, pretty realistic, isn't it? So the last bit of the instructions say to attach the tubes between these two cylinders. And it's 7:06, so it's taken a few minutes to do, not too long at all. And there's no indication of what this... Ah, the magnet! I guess I know what the magnet's for. It's probably for the bottom of this. Yes, to keep this put in place. Which is going to be somewhere there. Let's have a quick look at that. So, is that a cover? Yes, that's a cover for the wick. I've no idea on wick technology which way round this will go, but that does look like an arrow, so I guess that will just shove down there. Go on there like a little lid when you're not using it. Have to figure out what you actually use in there. And there's no indication on what these little pieces of plastic are. Possibly something to do with the wiring. And there definitely is a spare screw. Great. So I'm going to do a bit of research and see... Oops, conrod came off. And see what we need. Oh, I know what they are. I figured it out. These actually do go on these shafts. Look, they're what hold those little rods on. I'll zoom in so you can have a look. Look, just pop them on. That's what it is. That's why the conrod fell off. So they're actually a little bit of a spacer. I wouldn't really class them as a bearing, but definitely as a spacer. And then the outer one keeps that in place. Brilliant. I'm a bit worried about testing this. I do have a bucket of water next to me, and I am a bit worried about my camera and this flame. So I'm going to light this here. Whoa! Okay. I don't know if you saw that, but it did seem quite aggressive. I'll put it on this metal plate instead. Right, so there is a lot of fire there going on. I can hear it bubbling away. I'm going to step away from this. And I think looking at the camera, that flame does appear to be underneath. Okay. Oh! I feel it's moving more than just me. Look! It's running. Very fast. That is actually pretty cool. Can you see the LED there? I'm a bit loath to turn it. Wow! I'm totally impressed, actually. I didn't expect it to be that good. Wow, that feels like it's got a reasonable amount of force. Look at your LED there. So that's running in that direction. I wonder if we can run it in the other direction. No, I think it only runs in one direction. Well, tickle me impressed. Just blown out the candle. Let's see how long it takes to cool down. It's still going. It's quite impressive, isn't it? And how hot is it? Surprisingly not that hot. And I think it's just about to stop. Right, time to experiment, I think. I'm seeing 2.8 volts, 2.9, it's going up. And we do have a definite positive and a definite negative. It went up to 3 volts, so that's a bit of fun. Just going to blow that out. Ow! Don't touch that. It's okay, I wasn't using those fingerprints anyway. So we've got our tinning going on, and we have our wires from the actual end of the USB cable, and I'm going to pre-tin those while I'm at it. And I've just done a first aid course, so if you do get a burn, you are to run it under a cold tap for 20 minutes. And I'm not following that advice right now because I don't know, I just want to get on with it. But that's what you should do. Look, that's what I got. Don't touch the end of that. Right, let's put this back. We have our USB wire. We have our hot thing. Once bitten, twice shy. Let's get that on there. I'm going to let it throttle up. We're going to let it get a decent bit of speed before we hook it on. But it's a good reminder, this isn't a toy. There is naked flame here. I actually am kind of worried having this running in the back office, but make sure whatever you've got some sort of fire suppression apparatus set up. Oh, almost. There we go. I'm quite excited. Oh no, it's throttling down. Come on, you can do it. We need to hit that 5 volts. Whoa. Oh, I saw it. If you just see here, there is a status LED. Just look here. Oh, so close. It glowed briefly. So it didn't have enough juice to hit something with a battery. However, I do have this D-Author. Again, very similar actually, ESP12 module, but there's no battery on it, so at least it won't put up as much a resistance. Let's get this going again. Contact. You're certainly not going to be powering up your iPad from this, not on this scale. You're going to want a massive one, certainly more efficient. I do hear some squeaks though, so potentially it could be lubricated and that could help. Yeah, little tweaks might help. Let's go. Just a flash, that's all I want to see. Come on! Nope. No pie for you. One last test. Let's see if we can charge up that battery that we salvaged on a previous video. You can hear it though, it's so squeaky. No, nothing. So I suppose I ought to offer some sort of conclusion to this video because it's mainly been an experiment. First impressions are this is a great piece of kit because it pretty much works out of the box. There's very minimal assembly and it's very satisfying because it does produce a reasonable amount of work, you know, at the end of this. Obviously it's enough to flash some LEDs, and we've been messing around with the micro USB trying to get devices to run, but we know that was a slim shot anyway. But through running it for a little while, I mean it's not been too long, but maybe about half an hour, you can hear there is squeaking, so there is room for improvement when you get yours, and I think you could try to optimize it, because if you hear there are squeaks, and those squeaks do go when you put some silicone lubricant in there, but of course I got it on the belt, so then you've got inefficiencies on the belt then if you do that, so you might have to just go around and play with it. I can see here, for example, this conrod is slightly deflected, so it could be that just loosening some of these things here would just allow a little bit more play. Again, that little bit more energy to transfer down to that motor that's obviously acting as your generator. So yeah, I think play with the alignments, play with the lubrication, you'll get it good. Of course, be careful, it is not a toy. I did singe my finger on this, and as anybody who grew up in the 80s would attest to, wow, that's still hot. We're kind of used to it because we had chemistry sets and we're burning ourselves all the time, but I don't think modern day kids will have those hardened calluses, so yeah, be very, very cautious of that. But yeah, I'm really impressed. I'm going to recommend them again because I thought this is a bloody good thing. Sterlingkit.com, and just have a look at their internal combustion engine models they have. They are wonderful. Sterling Engine, if you want to send me some stuff for this channel, I will definitely take any of your engine kits. They look great. Comment down below if you've used them before, or any other kind of Sterling engine or similar. Please feel free to tap me up in the Discord, and as ever, thank you for watching.